seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
And good morning. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be with you here this morning. We got off to a bit of a late start this morning, but we are here and we're excited to be here. And the technology is always keeping us on our toes, as we do need at least one iPad, one desktop, 3 laptops, a mixer, 2 mixers, and a sound card mixer, and 2 mics, 2 headphones, a bunch of cables, Wi-Fi, really good Wi-Fi with really good internet behind the Wi-Fi. We need all of those things in order to have a good show. Anyways, to have a show, period, because we're on CKLU Live, 96.7 FM, Sudbury's campus and community radio station, been around since 1984. Their studio's located on the corner of Elm and Elgin in the McEwen School of Architecture, the old Telegraph building, downtown Sudbury. That's where the studios are, but we're not in the studios. We're coming to you remotely. And we're also on streaming live, so you can listen to us cklu.ca. You just click on the Radio Player Canada app logo. The player will open, and you'll be able to see the player there. You just click on it, and then you'll be able to listen to us on the website. But if you actually download the Radio Player Canada app, you can listen to us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. And that's just the way that it works. So, yeah, so you can catch us a few different places at the same time. Facebook Live, facebook.com/Sudbury News. YouTube as well, youtube.com/Sudbury News. You can catch us there each and every morning, 7:30 to 8:30. That's every weekday morning, Sudbury News Talk, where myself, AJ Walsh, and a co-host will basically facilitate a community conversation with y'all. So the more that we grow our community here online, we can then discuss and change in a positive way our community we live in physically. And that's the idea of this show, is to have a community conversation where we discuss the things that are important to us, that influence our lives on a daily basis, and see what we can do to make our community a better place. So yes, starting with the first comment of the day. Good morning, Julia, and starting with welcoming the co-host of today, which is Billy. Good morning, Billy. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thanks.
Great. And so
it's going to be a great day.
It's going to be a long day for you. You not only are on the show, you have a full day of work you're putting in, and then you have another job to do after.
Yeah, actually, my week is kind of like that, but you know, they say make hay while the sun shines, right?
No, it's true. Yeah, so we'll talk more about that as time goes on. So thanks for being with us this morning. Make sure to comment as you feel appropriate when you want to chime in, and let's get started with everything, because we are a little bit late and there are a few things we can talk about today, and we're going to get right into it with a little bit of weather, and we'll be back right after this. And as promised, the weather just seems to always happen no matter what. 17 degrees currently, and there's fog, 100% humidity, because there's a little drizzle going on where I'm at, and I'm not sure if everyone's experiencing it across the whole region, but few showers today. Risk of a thunderstorm this afternoon. Fog patch is dissipating this morning. the temperature's going to be steady near 17, and the UV index will be 2 or low. Now tonight, mainly cloudy, 60% chance of showers or drizzle, risk of a thunderstorm early this evening, wind becoming 20 kilometers overnight, low of 10. And then Wednesday, cloudy, 30% chance of showers or drizzle early in the morning, wind becoming 20 kilometers, gusting to 40, high of 15. UV index will be 3 or moderate. But my question is, where's all this rain that we've been waiting for all this time? That's my question. So yeah, as we said, tomorrow, chance of showers, 30%, 15, but then Thursday, they're forecasting a nice sunny day, but cooler. High is only 14. So interesting weather as it changes as we move towards the autumn season. Start looking for those leaves to start changing. And Friday, cloudy, 17. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, they're calling for, looks like there's a chance of showers anyways. So there's all this anticipation or forecasting of rain, but really, we haven't really got much. And my garden is not all that happy because it wants some rain. And here's the way the satellite image looks like there's just a cloud right over the northeast region of the country, just right over us, almost like we're all Eeyore, and there's the cloud over all of us. But so that's your weather. Hopefully you're having a good day regardless of the clouds. I know it affects certain people more than others, and hopefully you're staying positive, and look forward to Thursday as they're calling for some sun. We'll be back with some headlines and Billy and some chat, and hopefully a conversation with all of you all right after this. So Billy, we talked about your busy day today. Now you're on the show for this hour, and then you hop to your full-time job. You're done at 6, and then you're going down because there's an exciting thing going to be happening. I got a email yesterday from Miranda from the Sudbury Wolves talking about a really cool thing that's happening. They're going to be doing a big unveiling. Do you have any news about that?
No, I don't even really know what you're talking about. So I'm gonna have to fish around for that email.
Cool. Well, there's going to be a new addition to the Sudbury Arena.
Oh yes,
And
I remember the new jumbotron. I guess
the new jumbotron. They're going to unveil it on Friday. So they've invited the membership. I guess that's season ticket holders. I think they've changed the season ticket holder name to members, like a membership. And I think it's open to members as well as the media, or it's just open to the media. I don't know. But anyways, hopefully I can get down there Friday night and cover it and cover the uncovering of the new jumbotron. It'll be pretty exciting addition to the Sudbury Arena. Something I've made fun of for the last 4 or 5 years. The old so-called jumbotron.
the critic they have to win over. So if you give it the thumbs up, then I guess it's good.
It's like one of those screens where you have to be right in front of it in order to see what's on it, and it's not HD and it's very dim. And if you're just anywhere other than right in front of it, you can't really see what's on it. And that was
a little hard on that. It was. I thought my eyes aren't the best, but
you could see some things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it was probably the
head, right?
Yeah, but it was probably the oldest and the least effective jumbotron in the OHL. So at least,
sure. Yeah, if you want to compare it to the others, yeah,
it's the only thing I can do because, if you go to another you go to another hockey game and you're like, wow, you're in a new arena with a new jumbotron, and there's an experience there, and then whatever, at least we don't have a new arena, but we will.
And that's probably a factor too, right? Because you're thinking they're probably like years ago thinking, well, they're going to be making this jump, so they don't want to, put something in there and then have to take it all down. It might not be suitable for the new place, so they're just going to wait and see which way it goes, and everything just keeps, meandering. So
Yeah, so at least if we do get a new arena, I'm sure they'll take this new Jumbotron with it, and it will join the new arena.
Yeah.
So it's really not a waste of money at all. It'll still come in handy.
Not a waste of money. But you have to figure they might not have gotten the exact same one had they, if it was being designed around a new situation.
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
sure they're completely interchangeable like that.
So I'm looking forward to that. Some headlines that we've been sharing. Hopefully people have been just checking in on our Sudbury News Facebook page. And for those that aren't aware, we just pretty much share the news and information that we feel is, going to impact Sudbury in some way, shape, or form. The odd time we'll share, like when the Queen died, obviously. I shared a story about that. When Prince Charles, he's now the new king. Well, that's news. So share that. That does impact us. And if there's a new prime minister wins an election, of course that, or a new premier of the province, or any of these things. Oh, actually, I don't even think I shared anything about Polyev yet. Or maybe I did. I don't know. But again,
I'd say there's a focus on the local politics. So
there's a focus on local.
Include the odd.
Yep.
The odd.
So that's what we share on our Facebook page, but our website, which is now 99.99% complete, which is Sudbury.news. If you go there, we've did our best to make basically a news aggregator for all local news to kind of have a home there. And we're not competing with other news outlets. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to work with them, if anything, promote them, and to use their stories. And when you click on any of their stories that we have kind of on our website, it goes to their site. It goes to their social media. So it's not like we're taking it away from them and we're keeping it on our website. It's basically a place, it's a portal for all of the news to exist, local news, and then from there you can then branch out. But it's all the news in one place. And we could do a better job. And if you do have a suggestion, feel free to comment on the website and or email us sudburynews@gmail.com or comment in the comments here. If you have any suggestions, we are working on having this show live on the Sudbury News Talk link. You won't have to just come to Facebook or YouTube or listen to us on CKLU. You could just go to our website, and the feed will be coming from YouTube, but it will be live on the website, and you can comment there as well. So yeah, thank you very much. So yeah, here's a story being shared by Jesse about the closed in both directions street, I guess. So let's see. So all y'all can see that. And I'm going to open it here. There's radar road collision. So this is breaking news. Thanks, Jesse, for sharing that. Sudbury.com's reporting. Greater Sudbury Fire Service Deputy Chief Jesse Oshel has provided an update on the radar road collision, saying the crash is fatal. Unfortunately, radar road is closed in both directions at this hour due to a serious motor vehicle accident. Greater Sudbury Police said on Twitter at 6:40 a.m. that the road is closed at Dupuy Drive. Greater Sudbury Fire Services Deputy Chief also shared on Twitter they're currently on the scene with paramedics. So for people to avoid that area if you're on your way to work, possibly. That's not a way that you'd want to take Billy. And so, wow, this is very sad that there's a fatality there. Very sad to hear that. There's going to be obviously more to know about that on tomorrow's show as we hear more about it. But thanks a lot, Jesse. See, that's the idea here of this show. Keep each other informed, discuss things that are important in the community, and just keep working on making this a better and better experience. So thanks again for that. And so hopefully our website, so that would have been on our website because all the Twitter feeds come in on the home page. You just hit Twitter feeds, and you have Twitter feeds from all of the local journalism outlets as well as the Sudbury Police. So I didn't check that this morning. That's now going to be a thing I'm going to check in my morning routine. I'll just check all the Twitter feeds, see if there's any kind of emergency things going on that we need to talk about, and boom. So thanks for that, Jesse. So now going to our Facebook page and the things that we've been covering there, Jagmeet Singh was in Sudbury. Was he in Sudbury for a couple of days? I don't know, but I think he was in Sudbury for at least on Sunday, I know. But Singh touts NDP achievements during Sudbury stop. And we had Natalie Labby on yesterday commenting that she did a TikTok video with him, and they were dancing and having a good old time. And, you know, it's good to have a little bit of fun, not always doom and gloom and working on big issues or whatever. But unfortunately, when I was reading in the comments, a lot of people were very sour about, I didn't read any positive comments on it. And this was coming from the Sudbury Star and whensudbury.com. The comments were largely saying sentiments like that were negative, that he kind of sold his party out by joining with the party that's in power and made them more powerful rather than sticking to their platform and being an opposition to that power. They just joined it and made another party powerful. So some of the NDP voters felt disgruntled over that decision by the leader of the NDP. I don't know if you're hearing some of the same sentiments or not.
Yeah, I was hearing kind of the same thing, but it's that's politics, and yeah, I don't know. I haven't really been following that too close. I guess it kind of makes sense to me that they would be aligning right now, but
It's not like it's the first time that's ever happened.
yeah. So we'll see. I guess it's kind of a calculated move, and I'm not too sure if they have. I mean, they do have some overlapping ideologies and objectives, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think Jesse's kind of saying something similar, like sometimes it's beneficial they're working together to get things happen when it is beneficial. If two parties have similar things that they could move forward, this is an opportunity then to work together.
So I guess time will tell if it's a miscalculation or a positive thing for them.
Because, yeah, we're used to people like being adversarial and fighting each other, but I guess working together. I guess it depends if the parties are working together for something you feel is important. It's good. But if it's something that you were hoping wouldn't happen because you voted for the opposing party, then it's not good for you. But again, it's a democracy, right?
Yeah. Kind of.
That's what happens. So yeah, so again, I just noticed this comment now. Glenn Smith says yes. So the headline is Singh touts NDP achievements during the Sudbury stop. But Glenn says, yes, you did by supporting the dictator, Justin Trudeau. That's someone's comments. And then somebody came back at that. It says Rolex socialist. I don't know what that really means, but I can kind of
Oh, you got a
guess.
sense of that. Yeah, he's socialist, but he's very well-to-do.
A wealthy socialist. Well, that's an interesting title. If you introduce yourself to somebody and say, hi, my name is so-and-so, I'm a wealthy socialist.
Yeah. I think all the political structures kind of have some shape of pyramid to them, right? There's always...
Have we ever had a very poor leader, like someone who is very not wealthy in a long time?
maybe not in a long time. Yeah, I don't know. That's hard to say. You'd need one of those investigative journalist types to see. I know they don't personally. Well, maybe they do have a personal increase of fortune, but it seems
It seems the stock market is a place where a lot of politicians these days get wealthy while they're in power.
well, I guess I mean there's a huge advantage when you know not only know what's coming down the pike, you sort of are shaping it, where what what the future holds more than others. So
Yeah, if you make a policy that affects the economy, you could know that policy's coming down, like you said, and you could then invest your money in that way, right? Knowing the policies that how they're going to change, buying things while they're very low, while not the average person doesn't know these policies are going to change, and then you end up benefiting from that.
hmm
Happens quite a bit actually. So something a little less, I guess, controversial, but something I didn't know either was work on Dynamic Earth project begins shortly. Were you aware of this?
no, what are they doing there?
So work on Dynamic Earth. There's a picture of it. As far as I know, they have a little mini putt there now too, which I wasn't aware of. Science North said Monday it officially begun rock removal for its 7.4 million Go Deeper project at Dynamic Earth.
Oh, okay, because it doesn't go very deep right now, right?
I guess not. No, it just goes just below the surface. It feels like you're really low. Like, do you ever go there for any of the Halloween things they do in the Tunnel of Terror?
But come to think of it, I must have been there sometime in the past decade because I think I remember you get that sense you're going down deep into the mines, and then you feel like you're walking deep in the mines, and all of a sudden you come out of an outcropping in the rock, and you go, oh, I guess I wasn't
Oh,
that deep.
an elevator. Yeah, exactly. So the Tunnel of Terror was, I had to, because my children, their ages, right at the time, that was their favorite place to go, was the Tunnel of Terror.
Ah,
And this major expansion and renewal at Dynamic Earth is part of a large project that will create new spaces for showcase modern mining and the future of mining, including the equipment, technology, innovation, and new opportunities in the industry. So they sent out a press release, and it says, with the completion in early 2024, the Go Deeper project will increase awareness and understanding of modern mining and critical minerals through rich, immersive experiences, and will showcase modern mining in Northern Ontario as a high-tech, environmentally responsible, and safe industry. So excavation operations will continue until February 2023, and businesses and homeowners within the determined radius of the site have been notified of the scheduled project. So yeah, living in Coppercliff for many years, I know all about the blasting in your house shakes and all that stuff. So all of the people in Gatchell could probably expect a lot of that going on for the next year or so. But interesting. I guess we need a place to show off, if you will, our industry that we have here in Sudbury, which is mining. Dynamic Earth seems to be a better place than ever to do that.
that makes sense.
Did you hear anything about? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I remember going to like Epcot Center and seeing like a lot of the predictions of the future. This was like years ago, but they'd have like a lot of animatronics. They'd have the animatronic family and the animatronic dog. So, but I guess this place is going to have something similar, except the animatronics will actually be the real miners of the future. So,
Yeah,
I imagine
exactly.
there'll be a lot of robots and stuff.
Well, that's what I'm
Probably not
hoping.
the cool Epcot Center ones, but
Let's see if they make it fun too. You know what I mean? Like if there's something that you could do and interact and get on a machine and drive it, or do the remote control with it, and you do mining yourself, stuff like that. Hopefully they're doing things like that to make it very interactive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And good morning.
That would draw.
Good morning, Leanna. She just came on here, and almost like the museum at the science of mining. Yeah, a museum, basically. That would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're the kind of place to do this, right? So it sounds like it makes sense to me. So have you heard anything about this next story? There's college's COVID-19 vaccine mandate is legal and enforceable. Ontario court rules.
That is the first I saw of it. I knew that Western had a thing. I didn't realize Seneca did as well.
So 2 unvaccinated students argued the policy that it violates a number of their rights under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. In a precedent-setting decision. Now, those are big words. I don't know if everyone realizes how big those words are. In a precedent-setting decision, meaning all decisions after that will follow this decision pretty much. So if anyone else with a similar beef with the government, don't even bother, because there's precedent now set. In a precedent-setting decision, the Ontario Superior Court of Justice has upheld Seneca College's vaccine mandate for the current school year. Yeah, I'm with you on that one too. I think as far as universities are concerned, I knew Western, but maybe colleges, they also have a vaccine mandate. A motion for an injunction against the school's vaccine policy was issued on January 2022 by 2 unvaccinated Seneca students. They were represented by lawyers from the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms. The students argued that the vaccine policy contradicts instructions issued by the Ontario Chief Medical Officer of Health, and that it violates a number of their rights under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The decision is especially important, said Howard Levitt, one of the lawyers representing Seneca College, as it shows, even now, 2.5 years into the pandemic, that vaccine mandates are legal. And institutions do have the right to enforce them. So that's huge, which
Yeah,
he's right when he says that.
Well, which is kind of weird. It says, in the decision, Superior Court Judge William D. Black found that Seneca College did not contradict the Ontario Chief Medical Officer of Health's vaccination guidance. But you figure that wouldn't be as much of a factor as, say, like the Charter of Rights or the the actual kind of legal documents.
Yeah, they're going on that it didn't contradict the Ontario Chief Medical Officer's vaccination guidance, which wasn't the claim of them in the first place. Like, this is the point you're making. They were saying that it was against the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It wasn't against the opinion of the Chief Medical Officer of Ontario.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if it'll be appealed.
Yeah, you know what? So you can appeal because that is the Ontario court. So you can take it to the federal, I believe. Look, I don't know 100%. It would be great if my nephew starts dabbling a little bit more in other types of law. He's kind of covering a niche section of law right now. And I do have a good friend too, but he's more corporate, so maybe he would know. But anyways, I might have to consult them and see exactly, what the process would be going forward. While the Chief Medical Officer of Health is no longer mandating vaccination policies for post-secondary institutions, he continues to encourage mandatory vaccination policies. Yeah, it's almost like the law, right? Now that murder is no longer being enforced, we encourage you not to murder. Can you imagine if the law worked like that? You know, it's no longer mandated you don't have to, that you're not allowed to murder people, but we're suggesting it's a good idea not to murder people.
Yeah, what's kind of weird in that in the light is that I remember a clip of that medical officer is kind of backtracking, saying, "Oh, no, we weren't saying you had to get a vaccine mandate. We're just saying get a vaccine policy. Either you get the vaccine or get tested." But it felt like he was kind of you know removing himself from that potential legal burden if there was any challenges to it. So
Yeah. So he said, so this is Black. He says, when considering if the students' Charter of Rights were violated, Black states that in his view, I love this. That's what I was saying, like this idea of murder. In my view, murdering, yeah, it's not all that bad. I mean, the person doesn't have to suffer anymore. You know, they had depression every now and then, and they didn't get along with their mother-in-law. You know, in my view, murdering isn't all that bad. So anyways, so just the in my view thing is funny when you're dealing with law. So when considering if the students' Charter of Rights were violated, Black states that in his view, quote, the application of the Charter to Seneca's actions is somewhat uncertain. Nonetheless, Black proceeded to assume it does apply and found that Seneca did not violate the two students' rights under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So that's an interesting situation we're in, and they probably will appeal that. I don't know. Does it say that by the end of the article?
I didn't see anything so far here.
You would think the reporter would then find that out, right? Are you guys going to appeal this or not? In doing like, isn't that a normal question a reporter would ask?
Yeah.
Like, where do we go from here?
Ambiguous answers, and it just didn't kind of go anywhere. So could have been a decision like that.
So the last quote of this article says the decision entirely demolishes and annihilates all arguments that employers do not have the right to require people to be vaccinated at a workplace. It demolishes and annihilates all arguments.
I don't know. I see a lot of lawsuits going on, and I see it seems like a ratio of kind of wins and losses. But there's definitely some winners out there in terms of the legal arguments. So I guess we'll see where this where this ends up in a year.
Yeah, so we're getting quite a few comments here about, the judge and kind of either bought off, or if they have political leanings, they're usually going to lean towards a certain way, things like that. Yeah, if a judge says, in my view, carries way more weight than the regular citizen, that is true. Yeah, because it's the judge's responsibility to interpret the law according to the situation. Hence the name judge. He's judging it. Judging the situation by law. But again, it's just the wording. He doesn't say due to this particular section of the charter, and he's not making a law argument. His argument was it doesn't seem to be going against the recommendations of the health chief medical officer. He mentioned nothing of how, if it does or doesn't go against the Charter of Rights. So he's not using a legal argument to make a legal precedent, in my view. Could be wrong. I'd have to look into it a lot more. Okay. Ghislain says, every evil will serve its time in the courts on high. So higher courts than here. So I guess even if you think of karma or things like that,
Yeah.
every decision someone
Even here,
makes.
the judges get judged, as well. They don't. I think there is a system that, if I don't know what that system is. I think I've heard in cases before where judges kind of lose their tenure for, if they
Certain amount
make
of time.
really bad decisions, or like their rationale can be really legally attacked, such as that kind of case where, you know, a bunch of other judges say, "Holy smokes, here's where it violates this, in 20 places."
I wonder how often that takes place. I don't see that happening very often,
Not
you
very
know. No, if any, like we'd have to go back in history and see how
thing
many
to-
and which countries. Maybe Canada has a couple, and the States might have some. But I think it's mainly things get appealed, right? And if a judge makes the wrong decisions, their decisions get appealed and then get re-looked at from higher courts. But what do you do if you have a bad judge on the highest court in Canada? Who's there to oversee that?
Yeah, I guess. Well, what do you do in the case where like a judge is bought or blackmailed? You know,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
there's got to be like a system for.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So Jerome's saying basically, like any institution can be bought, paid for. You can have corruption in the medical system. You can corruption in the legal system. And if you have human beings involved, we're capable of corruption. So what's your price? Does everyone have a price? Are there people on this earth who don't have a price? Possibly. I'd like to consider myself that. However, no one's come to me with saying, here, take $1 billion and say this yet. So how would I know? I don't know. Is $1 billion my price? I would like to think no.
It's the old line, silver or lead.
There you go. Yes, exactly. Sometimes people don't really have a choice. Institutional capture is very real. Yep, that's true. In the U.S., legislators can impeach judges. There you go. So that's in the States.
Awesome.
Now, this is an interesting story here. Go ahead.
No, I was just thanking Miles for that bit of info.
For sure. So there's I didn't know this was a thing. It says, what is CPTED? And is Sudbury using it effectively? CPTED. Say that 10 times fast. They came up with every letter that has that sound. CPTED. Stands for Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design.
I like it.
And you can certainly see examples of this in downtown Sudbury. But the man who helped create it says the version being used by Sudbury police is outdated. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing to consider. Like the whole idea of it is that you design places so that there's not a lot of, I guess, hiding spots for muggers and whatnot. And it's there's open areas that sort of viewable, which is good to consider, but probably not the single best factor for designing a space.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good to put some thought into it.
So I guess at some point we were state of the art, and now time's gone on, and one of the co-creators or co-founders of the International CPTED Association, Gregory Saville, says basically that they're using first generation, ideas of the tool rather than updated versions meant to include the needs of vulnerable populations. The plans could be causing a vicious cycle or displace the issues of downtown to other parts of the city. Sound familiar? Gregory Saville, he's the inaugural chair and longtime CPTED and crime prevention practitioner, said that the generational aspect is important because there is a distraction between crime of opportunity and crime that's motivated, or crime motive. Originally, the CPTED was designated around the idea that by improving the physical environment, you can reduce the opportunity for crime. Kind of like you said, get rid of those spaces where you could hide, and then think if I did this particular way, I could commit a crime. But you take those opportunities away. But that was just first generation. So the Greater Sudbury Police Service has 2 officers trained with first generation tactics. And the training is built upon 3 pillars: natural surveillance, centered on visibility of spaces, identifying where intruders would be able to hide and creating optimal visibility; natural access control, which is denying intruders the access to a crime target and creating a perception of risk to the offender. Yeah, it's making it harder. Oh, if they do this, there's a camera there or something, I'm going to get caught. And territorial reinforcement, creating a sense of ownership that the design creates for the space, usually by ensuring property is cared for, maintained, and decorated. So if you let your property kind of go down, it I guess in some way, shape, or form feels, if you don't care about it, why should I care about it either? I'm just going to vandalize it or whatever, right? If you see a building that's got a bunch of broken windows already, you wouldn't think twice of picking up a rock, some people, and just making more damage. Whereas if a building was nice and upkept and whatever. So yeah, taking away the opportunities, places to hide, things like that, then making it easier, like look at least like I'm going to get caught if I do this. It's in plain sight or there's cameras, and then maintain the building as well. So I think those 3 make rather common sense. Those 3 kind of pillars.
Yeah, I wonder if the, what you'd call, I guess, like drug-induced crime would throw a wrench in that, because, for people, who might be, high on drugs, probably not going to be thinking about all that stuff anyway. They're just kind of acting, probably spontaneous. I don't know if that's not a very good articulation of what I'm trying to say, but you know what I mean. They're not thinking about the hiding spaces. They're just kind of in the moment, and like a little bit more random. It's probably hard to design that stuff.
Yeah.
And I really don't know what the number of, percentage of crime that's committed under that circumstances.
Well, they're basically saying we're a little bit outdated in our tactics here, and we have to basically get up to speed on the latest, and be able to know what to do here. And we have a few comments coming in here. Community housekeeping, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then people are also on foot, security guards around, putting bars on your windows, things like that say, you're not getting in here. It's like Fort Knox, basically. You ain't getting in this place, kind of things like that. But the more we move, like you say, there's societal things, there's generational things, there's all kinds of things that, sure, you can make places safer, but ultimately there's a balance and a pendulum swinging in society where if you don't take care of these problems, like you said, the drug issues, the homelessness, all these, the socioeconomic divides between people, it doesn't matter. Eventually the pendulum swings, and you can put bars on your windows all you want, or you can clean up your place or have surveillance, and people, just like you said, if you're addicted to something and whatever, and you're going to go through whatever it is to get whatever you need, right? So I think dealing with community issues and things like that are a huge thing. Do I have all the answers of how to do that? No, I don't. And they're huge problems, but they're definitely a factor in all of that.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important distinction to make too. A good metaphor is that the whole idea of, rescuing the people who are coming down the river and pulling them out of the river. And it's like, there's that one story where it's like the guy, he doesn't want to keep doing this. He wants to go up the river and see why there's so many people coming down the river drowning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can't remember that story.
And it's also too, if you keep, if you have like, let's say you live in a town below, sorry about that. If you live in a town with a dam, let's say, and the town is below the dam, and there's a hole in the dam, and you spend a lot of money in all of the water cleanup and removal, and you're constantly doing that, and you're saying, yeah, how do we get rid of this water? So you're making all these innovative solutions of cleaning the water as it's, filling up your town and whatever. But if you just went back and fixed the hole in the dam, you wouldn't have to worry about any of that stuff.
That the people are coming through.
That's right. It's the same analogy, only people and water. You just kind of reverse it, right? So just change out the people for water. I think the U.S. are having a problem with that with their borders currently. I don't know if you're on top of that or not. But they're dealing with a lot of issues and things like that, but it's just because they're not securing their borders properly, or for whatever reason, the new administration is just allowing things to take place. And so they're starting to have a lot of issues inside the country that they're going to have to deal with now, just from not preventing the problem from happening in the first place. Illegal aliens is what I'm referring to, not people who migrate legally and go through the proper channels. Now, are you up on the big day tomorrow? Are you, is it going to be the vote tomorrow for Laurentian University's CCAA?
Yeah, no, I've got no sense, no inside scoop, no idea.
Okay, well, here's a little video from the CTV Northern Ontario News, and I apologize if the sound isn't as loud as it can be, because I'm not sure exactly what's going on with my sound from the device I'm using. But anyways, here's a little story here about the Laurentians' insolvency and paying back the creditors and all that jazz. We'll try this and see how it works.
Cool.
Important vote is coming up on Wednesday of this week among Laurentian University creditors to see if the proposed plan of arrangement will be accepted and the university can move out of creditor protection. However, Laurentian owes over $180 million to about 500 different companies, 71 million of that to the Royal Bank. They will all be voting on the plan of arrangement, which will see them get back about between 14 and 24 cents on the dollar. Some groups, like the Terminated Faculty Committee at Laurentian, are urging that this be voted down. Sudbury's Chamber of Commerce is urging acceptance.
Yeah, well, we see the university as a community stakeholder, right? And yes, the creditors are, they're obligated. They should be getting, everything that they've invested, and they should be getting a good return. There is an understanding that Laurentian is a key player here and that it needs to stay here. So an urge of a vote of yes is just key.
The vote will require a simple majority of just over 50% to accept, and that vote result will be known on Wednesday of this week.
So there you go. Tomorrow, they're going to be voting on that. the Chamber of Commerce obviously looks at it as the backbone, a stakeholder in our community, he used. And if they don't vote for it, we don't know what's going to happen if they don't vote yes. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a huge discussion. Either way, vote yes, vote no. They owe $180 million to 500 creditors and 78 or something million to one institution, a bank. How they let that get to that point in the first place, to me, is wow. And so regardless of what happens, the chips are going to fall where they may. And it's just going to be interesting either way. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah,
but
I'm with you there.
But anyways, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. I think Nick's going to be joining us on the show tomorrow. Thanks everyone for all of your comments. I'm sorry I didn't get some of the last comments in here. I'm going to do that as we're wrapping up the show. But a lot of them are to do with the safety of the city, things like that, how we're doing things. So yeah, just get in comments, continue to comment, continue to like and share the show. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. We really appreciate the conversation, this community conversation that we've started with you. We hope that it continues. And thank you so much, Billy, for being here. You are an incredible addition and part of the show, that you've been here from the beginning. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't technically be able to do what we're doing, and being on the show, just making it so that way we can deliver it each and every day. A heartfelt thank you to you for being here.
Well, back at you.
And thanks everyone for being on the show. I can't thank everyone enough. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU, but we'll be back same place, same time tomorrow, maybe with an interview with one of the candidates. They're coming up very shortly. So have a great one, everyone. Ciao.